Hey, how's it going? Yes, it's 2019, but I am making a video about a 2008 Tahoe LTZ. The reason I purchased this vehicle, I needed something bigger for my family, and I've upgraded it a little bit with the roof racks, and I've got my full width cargo carrier here. And what I'm going to do is show you how I did a line out converter so that I could tap into the factory Bose, and I installed my own mono amp and a single 12. And look, I'm able to retain all my cargo area. I took out one of the jump seats in the third row. That's no problem. It can come back in if I need to carry that many people, but we're a family of 4. And I got rid of my Silverado just so we can have a little more family room. But this vehicle, I bought it about 3 months ago. It's a 2008, just amazing shape. It was garage kept leather, and I made sure I got the captain chairs so that I can get full access to the back. But I hid everything under this captain chair, and that folds fully forward so you can get to the amp, and you can see the beauty board. This is what it looks like. I'm gonna cut the beauty board because it's a little too tall. It'd smash the amp right now if I tried to put it back as is, but I'm gonna cut a hole in the beauty board and make sure there's good ventilation and doesn't get too hot, and then you won't even see this in here at all. So it's completely hidden, and I've tapped into the stock head unit. I'm keeping everything else untouched. And I'm making this video in 2019 on a 2008, but it should work for other models. And I also forgot to mention this vehicle, I found it with only 60,000 miles on it for a 2008. It's amazing shape. It was garage kept, I already mentioned that, but meticulous old doctor owned it, and the Chevy dealership had all the service records on it, and he did a good job of keeping it up. So you have to tap in here. Now, I had some conflicting information. I looked through Tahoe Chevy forums and some other YouTube videos, and I messed up. I made a mistake because I watched someone else's video, and basically this is the stock Bose sub, and I still have it fully functional here. It's a 6.5, but I wanted to add a little more sound here, and this is a budget build. So I did all this for less than $150, okay? The amp, the box, and the sub. That's crazy. I know you could spend well over $150 on just a sub, but that Hiphonic sub sounds amazing. It had good reviews. It was 28 bucks. I was blown away by the reviews on it. But so I used this DB link, and this was like $7 or $8 on Amazon, guys. You don't have to buy an expensive, crazy harness or expensive $80, line out. I have full control through the dash over my the treble, mid, and bass, and then I have control. You can control the gain here, right and left, leading to the amp, and then you have control on your amp as well. And I'm gonna find a permanent spot for this, but here's my my gain for the sub. So you have all that control. There's no need to spend a lot on the line out. So just getting right into it, this is where I messed up. Originally, I followed somebody else's recommendation to tap into the sub line at the tail end of the wiring. If you do that, the Bose system is going to communicate and know, and I wasn't getting any sound to the back, to the new sub. It wasn't giving any output at all. So then I had to test all these things, and it was where I tapped, okay? So what I did do was remove, disconnect. It gives you a lot more working room. Pop out the harness that holds it in place here, And you can unplug right here the factory sub if you want to test for temporarily. I kept this running ultimately. Some people bypass it. I don't know why. Just keep it. Now you have 2 subs. This is my remote wire. This is my RCA tucked down here. But here's where I tapped. I'm not going to yank it out to show you, but you can see a dark green and a light green. And this is on the harness side. The main bundle right here, it leads under here to the head unit. Okay, so I tapped in on this side, and yes, you can unplug this to give yourself some more room. You just pull this little lever and unplug it, and these are the ones I tapped, the light green and the dark green, and they're in the same, they're going into the same circuit right next to each other. So that gave me my signal, and that is for the right front speakers. Okay, so it's right front, positive and negative. And because this is mono, I tapped it into this, and that's giving a great signal. Now I'm not trying to go for any competitions or anything. I mean, this is a family vehicle. This is going to give you plenty of sound. Yes, the Bose volume maxes out, but it does a nice job. It doesn't distort, and you can control your gain depending on the song or the channel. Sometimes going over to XM, the settings, you can have them run one way, and then if you go over to FM, it's going to sound weaker. So you have to, you play with your settings. But that's how I did it, guys. Oh, as far as the power, there is a pink wire right here, and that is the key turn on for the amp and sub here. So that only works when the key's on, so why not tap that? I tapped into the pink wire here, and that gives me perfect remote for my my added amp. My amp's a 12 or 1100 watt mono. I'm running 2 ohm on that single 12, and it sounds great. One other thing I would point out, I did solder, and then I did I screwed a butt connector on, the screw type, and then I did electrical tape on top. So I did mess up here and tapped here, and I butted that off and sealed it up, no harm. But here I soldered in, so it's a better solder weld there. But that's it, guys. I love it. Put floor mats in, got the factory navigation back up, added the roof racks, and I got a roof carrier, and then this haul. So I mean, I've got max cargo space still. I'm not taking up too much room with a crazy box. You'll see some guys who they've lost their entire area back here because they put in some crazy sub box, but this is just a 14 by 14 by 14 cube, and that shipped, crazy deal. The sub in the box was about 50 bucks, I think, through Sonics Electronics. And then the amp, it's just a Bose amp, all right, but it had great reviews. I only spent about 50 bucks on that. So right there, $100, and then the wiring and your little output converter, we're on about $130, guys. Crazy, and it sounds great. Thanks, have a good one.